Space Technology. Aditya L1 Mission. India will launch its first solar mission Aditya L1 by 2019, where L1 stands for Lagrangian point. Lagrangian points are the locations in space where the combined gravitational pull of two large masses roughly balances each other. In the Sun-Earth system there are about 5 such Lagrangian points. The mission is a joint venture between ISRO and physicists from various institutes in the country. The objective of the mission is to study the dynamic nature of the Sun's chromosphere and outermost region, corona, and to collect data about coronal mass ejections. Supermoon. A supermoon is the coincidence of a full moon or a new moon with the closest approach that the moon makes with the Earth on its elliptical orbit. If a supermoon falls on a full moon day, then it results in the largest apparent size of the lunar disk for an observer on the Earth. The technical name is the perigee syzygy of the Earth-Moon-Sun system. Occasionally, the supermoon coincides with the total lunar eclipse. Micromoon. A micromoon is the coincidence of a full moon or a new moon with the farthest approach that the moon makes with the Earth on its elliptical orbit. The technical name is the apogee syzygy of the Earth-Moon-Sun system. Very rarely, the micromoon coincides with the total lunar eclipse. Team Indus, India's moon mission. Chandrayaan-1 was India's first lunar probe, launched by PSLV-C-11 of ISRO. The probe had impacted near Shackleton crater, ejected underground soil for analyzing the presence of water and ice. It predicted the possibility of water molecule and hydroxyl in the moon. Chandrayaan-2, the future indigenous project of ISRO, comprises of orbiter, lander, and rover, first rover project of ISRO, which will conduct on-site chemical analysis. Team Indus, only Indian company, won the Google Lunar X Prize, is India's first proposed private moon mission. Except for the launch vehicle, all of the technology that will power the rover and lander will be developed by Team Industry. Moonshot. The term moonshot, in a technology context, refers to an ambitious, exploratory, and groundbreaking project undertaken without any expectation of near-term profitability. Google has adopted the term moonshot for its most innovative projects, many of which come out of the Google X, the company's semi-secret lab. Google moonshots include Google Glass, Project Loon, the driverless car, augmented reality glasses, a neural network, robots for the manufacturing industry, and Project Calico, a life extension project. Magnetospheric Multiscale Mission, MMS. MMS is an unmanned space mission of NASA to study the Earth's magnetosphere and to map magnetic reconnection. Process occurs when the Sun and the Earth's magnetic fields interact, by using 4 identical satellites flying closely, 7.2 kilometers, in a tetrahedral or pyramid formation. Recently, it had set the Guinness World Record for highest altitude fix of a GPS signal. ExoMars Trace Gas Orbiter, ETO. The ExoMars Trace Gas Orbiter is the first in a series of Mars missions to be undertaken jointly by the two space agencies, ESA and Roscosmos. It is a 2-tier mission with an orbiter and a lander, where the landing probe is named after 19th century Italian astronomer Giovanni Schiaparelli, who made telescopic observations of Mars. A key goal of this mission is to gain a better understanding of methane and other atmospheric gases that are present in small concentrations, less than 1% of the atmosphere, which could be the evidence for possible biological or geological activity. OSIRIS-REx. The origins, spectral interpretation, resource identification, security, regolith explorer. OSIRIS-REx is a NASA asteroid study and sample return mission. OSIRIS-REx will travel to a near-Earth asteroid called Bennu and bring a small sample back to Earth for study. Cassini-Huygens. It is an unmanned spacecraft sent to Saturn as a joint mission of ESA, NASA, and ASI. It's a telerobotic spacecraft, where the orbiter is named as Cassini and lander is named as Huygens. Cassini-Huygens is 4th such a probe to visit Saturn after Pioneer 11, Voyager 1, and Voyager 2. Cassini had mapped Saturn's magnetic and gravity fields with exquisite precision. Juno mission. The term Juno stands for Jupiter Near Polar Orbit, is an unmanned solar-powered spacecraft was launched by NASA as part of its New Frontiers program, series of space exploration missions being conducted by NASA with the purpose of researching several solar system bodies including Pluto. Juno is 2nd such spacecraft to orbit around Jupiter, next to Galileo, where Galileo is nuclear-powered, and Juno is solar-powered. Galileo had found the evidence of subsurface salt water on Jupiter's moon Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto, while Juno will study Jupiter's gravity field, magnetic field, and polar magnetosphere. New Horizon mission. New Horizon is NASA's spacecraft which was dedicated to carry out scientific studies about the objects present in the Kuiper Belt by performing 2 types of missions. The primary mission is to perform a flyby study of the Pluto system, while the secondary mission is to fly by and to study one or more other Kuiper Belt objects, KBOs. Recently, it had conducted scientific study in Pluto, largest object in the so-called Kuiper belt, besides that it still contains 2 more dwarf planets like Haumea and Makemake. TRAPPIST-1. NASA scientists for the first time have discovered 7 new Earth-sized exoplanets that may have possibilities to hold life. These planets were identified by using NASA's space-based Spitzer Space Telescope and associated by ground-based European Southern Observatory's Very Large Telescope, VLT, located at Chile. Exoplanet or extrasolar planet is a planet that does not orbit the Sun and instead of that it orbits a different star, stellar remnant, or brown dwarf. These 7 planets orbits a dwarf star named TRAPPIST-1. TRAPPIST-1 is a star, larger and more massive than Jupiter and much cooler than the Sun, which is about 39 light-years from the Earth, located in the constellation of Aquarius. These 7 planets were named alphabetically from B to H. Out of these 7 planets, E, F, and G holds high possibility for habitat, which is believed to have the presence of methane and oxygen, so it comes under the Goldilocks zone. Great Observatory Program. The goal of the NASA's Great Observatories program is to observe the universe in distinct wavelengths of light. Under this program, 4 specialized telescopes were launched between 1990 to 2003. The 4 telescopes were Hubble Space Telescope, which looks on visible light, is still in operation. The second is Compton Gamma Ray Observatory, which is no longer in operation, and the third one is Chandra X-ray Observatory, which is also still in operation, and the final one launched in 2003 in NASA's Spitzer Space Telescope. RESOURCESAT-2A. RESOURCESAT-2A is a follow-on mission to its predecessor Resourcesat-1. RESOURCESAT-2A was launched into the Polar Sun Synchronous Orbit, SSO, by using PSLV-C-36. It has 3 advanced cameras in the name of LIS-3, LIS-4 and AUFS, which aims to provide clear information of rural and urban areas, soil mapping, forests, farmlands, crop coverage, crop system analysis, drought monitoring and other disaster management, coastal regulation, availability of minerals. The obtained images will be stored by using solid-state recorders having a capacity of 200 gigabits. Quest satellite. Recently, China had launched the world's first quantum satellite in the Sun synchronous orbit, which is named as Quantum Experiments at Space Scalar, QUES, satellite, otherwise it is also known as MICIUS. QUES will transmit uncrackable keys from space to the ground so that China will establish a hack-proof communication system from space to the ground. TANSAT. TANSAT is a global carbon dioxide monitoring satellite launched by China to understand the effects of climate change. By this launch, China had become the 3rd country after Japan and US to have its own satellite to monitor greenhouse gases. Japan's greenhouse gas satellite is called as GOSAT, which world's first satellite dedicated for greenhouse gas is monitoring, while NASA's satellite is GHGSAT. Scramjet engine. Scramjet stands for Supersonic Combusting Ramjet. It is a variant of a ramjet engine in which combustion takes place in supersonic airflow, while in ramjet the combustion takes place in subsonic airflow. Scramjet engines works on the principle of air-breathing propulsion system, in which the engine utilizes oxygen from the atmosphere for combustion, where it does not have a compressor or rotating parts to compress the air. Instead, it uses its high-speed forward motion to compress the air. It reduces the lift-off mass of the vehicle, since it does not carry on board liquefied oxygen, and thus it turns cost-effective by increasing the energy efficiency of rocket. Recently, ISRO had tested its scramjet engine with the help of advanced technology vehicle, named as RH-560, which was able to fly at Mach 6. With this, India became 4th country in the world to have scramjet engine next to US, Russia and European Space Agency. Dual-mode ramjet is a type of jet engine where a ramjet transforms into scramjet over the Mach speed of 4.8 range, which means it can efficiently operate both in subsonic and supersonic combustion modes. NAVIC. NAVIC or IRNSS is an independent Indian satellite-based positioning system designed to provide accurate position information service. IRNSS provides 2 types of services, namely, Standard Positioning Service, SPS, which is provided to all the users, and Restricted Service, RS, which is an encrypted service provided only to the authorized users. It consists of Group 7 satellites, out of which 3 were in geostationary orbit and 4 were in geosynchronous orbit. It provides service to the entire India. Beyond that, it can cover 1500 kilometers in all the directions of the country. Some of its applications were navigation, fleet management, disaster management, integration with mobile phones, visual and voice navigation, etc. RLVTD. The term stands for ISRO's maiden reusable launch vehicle, which is expected to demonstrate various technologies before commissioning for real-time projects. Various technologies demonstration includes HEX, SPEX, LEX, REX. It is a kind of 2 stages to orbital launch vehicle that combines both launch vehicle and aircraft. RLVTD doesn't has any connection with Avatar, which is also a reusable launch vehicle platform that belongs to DRDO. GSLV MKIII. It's a kind of 3-stage vehicle with Indian cryogenic engine in the 3rd stage and it is expected to carry GS-8019 in its maiden travel. It is claimed as heavy lift launch vehicle because of it is capable to put satellite of 4 tons into GEO synchronous transfer orbit or 8 tons satellite into low Earth orbit. India's dependence on foreign launch vehicle will be gradually reduced. It fulfills India's dream of sending its astronauts into space. Already a dummy test was conducted in 2014 with GSLV MKIII under the name CARE, Crew Module. Atmospheric Re-entry Experiment, Mission. PSLV C-37. ISRO's PSLV C-37, an XL variant of launch vehicle, was used to launch 104 satellites, 101 international, and 3 Indian satellites, belonging to 7 countries. The same XL variant of PSLV launch vehicle was previously used for its Chandrayaan and Mangalyaan mission. The primary passenger is Cartosat-2 and the rest were 103 co-passenger nano-satellites. Out of these 104 satellites, Cartosat-2, INS-1A, INS-2A belongs to India, 96 nano-satellites named as Doves belongs to USA and 1 each from Israel, Kazakhstan, Netherlands, Switzerland, and UAE. The satellites separated from the launch vehicle in different directions. The separation angle and time will be such that one satellite will not collide with another. After 1000 seconds the distance between a satellite and the rocket will be 1000 meters. Owing to the differential relative velocity of each, the distance between the satellites will increase continuously. But the orbit will remain the same where all the 104 satellites were placed in the Polar Sun Synchronous Orbit, SSO. CUBESAT. CUBESAT, a kind of miniaturized satellite for space research which is about 10 cubic units in dimension, where it uses commercial off-the-shelf, COTS, components for their electronics and structure. CubeSats were mainly parked in the lower Earth orbit, LEO, where it can serve for the purpose of Earth observation or for amateur radio. CubeSats will transfer data from space by laser beams at a speed of 200 Mbps, which is 100 times faster than TE current capacity. INSPIRE, Interplanetary Nano Spacecraft Pathfinder in Relevant Environment, was the first CubeSat to be launched in space. These satellites consists of basic maneuvering tools such as magnet torquers, actuators, star trackers, sun sensors, earth sensors, reaction wheels, and GPS receivers and antennas. Recently ISRO had placed 104 satellites by using PSLV C-37, where it had placed 88 CubeSats of USA. CARTOSAT-2. CARTOSAT-2 is highly useful for detailed mapping and other cartographic applications as well as applications in Land Information System, LIS, and Geographical Information System, GIS. So far ISRO had placed 4 Cartosat satellites in space and the images sent by these satellites were of high resolution in nature where it seeks its applications in rural and urban management, coastal land use and regulation, monitoring of road networks and pipelines. Nano-satellites. With the recent successful launch of PSLV C-37, ISRO had placed 2 nano-satellites such as INS-1A and INS-2A. The primary objectives of Indian nano-satellites, INS, system are as follows. Design and develop a low-cost modular nano-satellite in the weight range of 10 kg capable of carrying payloads up to a weight of 5 kg. Provide an opportunity for ISRO technology demonstration payloads. Provide a standard bus for launch-on-demand services. Provide an opportunity to carry innovative payloads for universities/R&D laboratories. South Asia Satellite. It is otherwise called as GS-89, launched by GSLV F-09. It's a kind of geosynchronous meteorological communication satellite. It provides services to all the SAARC countries except Pakistan. Out of these SAARC countries, Sri Lanka and Afghanistan already have communication satellites developed with the help of China and India respectively. LIGO Observatory. LIGO consists of 2 widely separated interferometer device that involves in detecting the gravitation waves directly as per Einstein's general theory of relativity. LIGO's multi-kilometer scale gravitational wave detectors use laser interferometer to measure the minute ripples in space-time caused by passing gravitational waves from cataclysmic cosmic sources. Gravitational waves carry pure information about the objects and events that created them. Gravitational waves are ripples in the curvature of space-time caused by some of the most violent and energetic processes in the universe. It propagates as waves, traveling outward from the source at a speed of light. These space-time ripples are gravitational waves. They are extremely weak, so they are very difficult to detect. Gravity waves and gravitational waves were not one and the same. Gravity waves are physical. Perturbations driven by the restoring force of gravity in a planetary environment. Wind-driven waves, tides, and tsunamis are types of gravity waves. Gravitational waves were created by the massive explosions of supernovas, spinning of neutron stars and the collision of black holes. LIGO India project is piloted by the D and the DST, which aims to set up the station at Hingoli district of Maharashtra. LISA Pathfinder project. LISA Pathfinder is an ESA mission, which also carries a NASA payload. LISA Pathfinder will place 2 test masses of gold-platinum cubes in a nearly perfect gravitational free fall and will control and measure their relative motion with unprecedented accuracy. Its primary objective is to measure deviations from geodesic motion, thus it studies the gravitational waves in the space by putting 2 test masses in a near-perfect gravitational free fall and control and measure their motion with unprecedented accuracy. LISA Pathfinder is a combination of 3 spacecraft, trailing the Earth at a distance of about 50 million kilometers, and these will orbit the Sun in the L1 Lagrangian point, and these 3 spacecraft will lie at the corner of a giant huge equilateral triangle and will be about 5 million kilometers from each other. The 3 spacecraft are expected to act as an interferometer which can detect gravitational waves, ripples, in the fabric of space-time, caused by the mergers of supermassive celestial bodies, and by using the special laser beams and telescopes, the trio will measure the gravitational waves. Since there are 3 points from which the observation is carried out, this space antenna will be able to pinpoint the location of the source of the detected gravitational waves to a high accuracy. NGARI Observatory. NGARI is the world's highest altitude gravitational wave observatory carried out by China in the Taib Tian region close to the line of actual control with India. The telescope will detect and gather precise data on primordial gravitational waves in the northern hemisphere. Along with the South Pole Telescope and Facility, SPTF, in Chile's Atacama Desert, Nguri would be the second such a kind of the world's top primordial gravitational wave observational base on the Earth. Nguri is the first dark sky reserve of China for the astronomical observatories. Cosmic Particle Accelerator. Giant Meter Wave Radio Telescope, GMRT, is an indigenous project set up at PUN by NCRA, which aims to study a variety of radio-astrophysical problems ranging from nearby solar system to the edge of observable universe. Recently GMRT, NASA's Chandra X-ray Observatory, had discovered a peculiar cosmic combination called as Cosmic Particle Accelerator for the first time in the history of astronomical science. Recent Cosmic Particle Accelerator involves in the collision of supermassive black hole with the giant galaxy clusters. GUSTO Observatory. The term GUSTO stands for Galactic/Extragalactic Ultra-Long Duration Balloon Spectroscopic Terahertz Observatory is a planned balloon-based observatory mission of NASA which involves in flying an ultra-long duration balloon, ULDB, carrying a telescope with carbon, oxygen, and nitrogen emission line detectors. GUSTO will provide the first complete study of all phases of the stellar life cycle from the formation of molecular clouds, through star birth and evolution, to the formation of gas clouds and reinitiation of cycle. The mission is expected to be getting launched from McMurdo, Antarctica by 2021 and is expected to stay in the air between 100 to 170 days, depending upon weather conditions. Chandra X-ray Observatory. Chandra X-ray Observatory, CXO, which uses Wolter telescope, is a kind of space-based satellite observatory of NASA. It was earlier known as Advanced X-ray Astrophysics Facility, AXAF. CXO has high angular resolution of its mirrors so that it is sensitive to X-ray sources which are 100 times fainter than any previous X-ray telescope. International Dark Sky Reserve. ANIDA International Dark Sky Reserve is a public or private land possessing an exceptional or distinguished quality of starry nights and nocturnal environment that is specifically protected for its scientific, natural, educational, cultural, heritage and/or public enjoyment. Reserves consist of a core area meeting minimum criteria for sky quality and natural darkness by restricting artificial light pollution in a peripheral area that supports dark sky preservation in the core. Reserves are formed through a partnership of multiple land managers who have recognized the value of the natural nighttime environment through regulations and long-term planning. The purpose of Dark Sky Preserve is generally to promote astronomy. Since different national organizations have worked independently to create their programs, different terms have been used to describe the areas. This has led to confusion between the terms reserve, preserve and park. So IDA had came out with 2 distinguishing words: IDSR for reserve and IDSP for the parks. NISAR. NISAR is a joint collaboration made between NASA and ISRO, which is the biggest collaboration between the 2 space agencies yet, will provide an unprecedented detailed view of Earth by using synthetic aperture radar. It is first radar satellite to get operated in 2 different band frequencies, one is L-band polarimetric SAR, produced by NASA, and the other is S-band polarimetric SAR produced by ISRO. The satellite will be placed into sun-synchronous dawn to dusk orbit by using GSLV launch vehicle. The satellite is designed to observe and take measurements of some of the planet's most complex processes, including ecosystem disturbances, ice sheet collapse, and natural hazards such as earthquakes, tsunamis, volcanoes and landslides. Data collected from NISAR will reveal information about the evolution and state of Earth's crust, help scientists better understand our planet's processes and changing climate, and aid future resource and hazard management. Seagate of NASA is the world's first synthetic aperture radar satellite, and NISAR would be second such a kind of thing, but NISAR would be the first radar satellite to get operated in 2 different band frequencies. Multi-Object Tracking Radar, MOTR, developed by ISRO, is capable to track 10 objects simultaneously. It tracks India's space assets and space debris. ISRO studies Riptide. ISRO had studied the occurrence of killer riptides by using IRNSS in collaboration with a private lifeguard agency appointed by Goa government at Calangute in Goa to safeguard its beaches. Riptide is a strong sea current which pulls the water away from the shore, often dragging swimmers and people into deeper water. Riptides can be identified by discolored water, choppy waves, and foamy surface. Blue straggler, vampire star prey. Recently, AstroSat had captured the rare celestial phenomenon of a small 6-billion-year-old vampire star preying on a bigger celestial body. The vampire star phenomenon is observed when smaller star sucks mass and energy out of a bigger companion star, causing eventual death. It is also called as blue straggler as small star becomes bigger, hotter, and bluer, giving its appearance of being young. AstroSat is India's first dedicated multi-wavelength space observatory aimed at studying celestial sources in X-ray, optical, and UV spectral bands simultaneously. It IPSA arcade into a 650 km lower Earth orbit by using PSLV C-30. KOUNOTORI or White Stork. Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, JAXA, had launched a space cargo ship in the name called as KOUNOTORI or White Stork, bound for the International Space Station, ISS, carrying a space junk collector that was made with the help of a fishnet company. Scientists at JAXA, Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, have spent 10 years developing a tether system to pull space junk out of orbit around Earth. JAXA worked with fishnet manufacturer Nitto CMO to create an electrodynamic tether made from thin wires of stainless steel and aluminum, using fishnet plating technology. The cleanup concept involves attaching one end of the tether to debris. As the tether swings through the Earth's magnetic field, it will generate electricity, which is expected to have a slowing effect on the space debris, pulling it into lower and lower orbit, and eventually into the Earth's atmosphere, where it will burn up.